Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. Today, something that's on my mind is a realization about my life and God's plan and how that came into fruition. Um, yeah. So basically, to start off 2026, I prayed that God remove everybody from my life who's holding me back. And the next day, I blocked my dad, blocked my little brother, stopped sharing my location with my mom, and basically cut off my grandma. So, um, yeah, I guess to make a long story short, I'm not respected in those spaces. They have done things that don't sit right with me, treated people a certain way, including myself, that doesn't sit right with me. And whether you're family or not, at some point, you just gotta stand up. You really have to assert your boundaries. People really push you to the point where you have to force that. And a lot of people think that I won't do that, but I will every single time. I'm 21 years old, I'm a grown woman. I don't have the space in my life for people to mistreat me anymore, and I'm glad that I learned that at a young age because there's a lot of people who they die stuck in the same patterns from their childhood trauma, or they just have no self-awareness. So I'm glad that I'm emotionally intelligent enough to be able to evolve, of course with the help of Yeshua. I've come to realize certain things. For example, I thought that the Lord gave me everything that I need because He was just being nice and wanted to see me blessed. And I must have been doing such a great job, even though I knew I was doing things that He thought were wrong, thinks is wrong. I said in my last video that I was homeless, and at the time I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and I was still doing certain things that I knew were bad for me, and I was just living life not present. I had a lot that I wasn't dealing with internally, and God did bless me more than I could have ever asked for, but He did it because it's part of His plan. I did not get my own housing just because He felt like being nice. As I said, it's a part of His plan, and that's why He chose to bless me according to His will. God was never, He's not going to make an exception for you unless, like, just because you convince Him and you're so, like, you're not outsmarting anybody. You're not, how do I say this? You're not the exception to God's plan. Of course, God can always change His mind. I'm just saying, always understand that God will bless you only because of His grace and His mercy. And it's only going to be because it's according to His will. It's not because He cares about you more than other people or whatever, you know? So for me specifically with my situation, God chose to bless me. And yeah, I've come to realize, I mean, I've always known it was God, but I've come to realize that it's not anything other than what He always intended to do. You know what I mean? As well as with my cat. I got the exact cat that I've been manifesting my whole life. I've always wanted a black cat in October. And when I got Ryuk, it was actually without a second thought. Like, my whole life I was always like, once I get my own apartment, I'll get a cat. I'll know it when I see him, or I'll just know it when the opportunity arises. And my ex randomly texted me one day, "Do you want a cat?" I said yes without a second thought, which is unlike me, okay? I like to think things through. I had been thinking it through for a long time. I didn't actually even mean it. I was just kind of like, whatever, like, why not? I did not think that he was actually going to get it that day. Well, he called me right after that, basically. And he said that he got me a cat, showed me Ryuk. Yeah, and then from then on, you know, he brought Ryuk here and gave him to me. Ryuk is literally my little angel. I love him so much. He's such a sweet boy. I'll make a video with him soon. I think he's asleep right now. So, yeah, I got everything that I wanted because God didn't mind blessing me along the way. Again, it's all according to my purpose and a part of his plan. Where his plan comes into fruition, I did not realize until, like I said, I cut members of my family off. Whether it's temporary, an extended period of time, forever, who knows? I'm a very forgiving person. I'm a very understanding person. So it just comes to a point when you're an empath, you just have to stand on it and you have to know yourself, stand on yourself and trust in yourself. Even when other people try to use things like that against you. That's why you should not approach people open like you've known them forever. Even though that's easy for me to do sometimes. Not that I overshare anything, but just with genuineness and not with any guard up at all. Like, that's not safe, you know? And I hate to say that. I hate that the world is like that, but that's just what it is. What was I saying before that? Anyways. You just have to know yourself, and I've just started listening to my intuition. I stopped trying to figure out how to overthink everything. Oh, how can I get out of this situation in the most strategic way possible? Oh, how can I read these people before they hurt me? Like, no, from now on, I'm living the moment. I'm being present. I'm so much happier. I feel just more free. I feel like I can finally rest in myself. And that brings me back to what I was talking about. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, God blessed me with a place to live separate from my family. I don't want to say away, but separate from my family. Giving me an angel to keep me company and show me the light as I go through this harder time in my life of truly becoming independent. Not that I'm not sitting here being like, oh, I don't need anybody, but yeah, there just comes a point in your life where you're just ready to move on from old patterns. You're ready to move on from who people think that you are. You're ready to move on from the old identity of who you thought you were and who people taught you to be and what they taught you to be. There just comes a point in your life where you have to take the reins, and nobody's waiting around for you to do it. In fact, they are grabbing at your ankles, dragging you back with them, dragging you down with them. They want to keep you in these old patterns. They want to separate you from your true self, your highest self. They want to remove you from the good things that God's trying to bless you with in your life. I'm not going to lie. So at my job, I saw something where someone wrote on a whiteboard, God isn't real. And at first I didn't really care. I just looked at it and I was like, whatever. But honestly, later, it really disturbed me because I thought about it again and I was just like, I mean, I've had my doubts about God before, but it just gave me such an eerie feeling of like, why are you writing that on a whiteboard and putting that on a wall? You know what I'm saying? Like, that just seems like off to me. And people can say whatever they want, they can believe whatever they want, but it just genuinely makes me sad. Like, that makes me want to say, let me pray for you, because not in a condescending way, but like truly, like why you felt the need to write that and put it on the whiteboard. A lot of people think that it's not deep, but like, I don't want to say that it's demonic. That's not what I'm saying. It makes me feel bad for them, because like, how can there not be a God? Like, truly look around you, go smoke a blunt, and come back to me. Cause how are you not understanding? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just very interesting to me that as I get closer to God, like, it makes me sad to see certain things that I was kind of desensitized to before. And it's not just because somebody doesn't agree with my beliefs or they don't agree with me and what I'm saying. I'm just being completely honest. Like, stuff like that, I want to see everybody win, you know? That's all I'm saying. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I hope you have a great January, and always remember that everything you're going through, good and bad, you should always give all praise to the Lord, because you ain't a magician. Okay. Maybe you're God's favorite.